everyone, I'm Shaela and welcome to my channel. So I want to talk about the things that I wish I knew before I started competing, because it would have been extremely helpful just to know these things. Maybe you're in contest prep now, or maybe you're thinking about competing in the future, or maybe you just know someone who is thinking about competing, and I think that this could be helpful. I will say not everybody will go through all the things that I'm going to mention, but this is just my experience. So I competed in bikini first in 2021, and then in 2022 I competed in wellness. So two completely different experiences, but a lot of the process was the same when it came to like eating, training, and just kind of getting ready for a show day. So I want to share with you all a few things that I just wish I knew before I started competing. So the first thing that I wish I knew was the time commitment. I knew that it was going to take a lot of time out of my day, my weeks, honestly, just out of my life to compete, but I did not realize how it was going to be pretty much a second job for me. So if you already have a job or two, this is literally going to be like a third job, because you have to be very disciplined, you have to sacrifice, and you have to dedicate a lot of time to competing. So for instance, for me, I think I ate around like 5 or 6 meals a day, and I had to eat them at very specific times throughout the day, not necessarily because I absolutely had to, my coach told me I had to, but if you eat too late in the day, then you won't get all your meals in because you'll be too full, or you will get them in, but like you're stuffing yourself, and that's just uncomfortable. Or if you eat too early in the day, then you're starving by the time 6 p.m. rolls around, and you're like, oh, I don't have any more meals to eat. So you really have to be very strategic when you eat your first meal, second, third, fourth, and so on. And that takes a lot of time to just have to schedule that around your daily life. So let's say you're out, you're socializing, you have to put that on pause for a second, eat your meals, and then go back to doing what you're doing. You have to make sure that your meals are prepped. So if it's late at night, you're tired, you're ready to go to bed, but you realize you don't have any food for the next day, you might not have time in the morning to cook, guess what you have to do? You have to get out of the bed, you have to cook, you have to make sure everything is ready to go. And that's one thing I found myself doing. I was exhausted. I'm not gonna lie. I was always tired because I was training so often. I was training 6 days a week. On the 7th day, I would pretty much just rest. I really didn't have to do anything. I was cooking pretty much every single day, if not, sometimes every other day. I would try to cook some things in advance, but I was always doing something for prep, whether it was cooking, training, or even posing. Presentation is key, so you wanna make sure your posing is where it's supposed to be. And to do that, you have to practice a little bit every single day. And so those were probably the 3 main things that I did, amongst other things, but those 3 things took up the most time throughout my day, and I literally didn't really have time for anything else. And then if I did have some spare time, I didn't want to do anything else. I was tired. I just wanted to sleep or relax or just kind of rest. So that way I had enough energy to do it all over again. Because for me, my day started around 4:35 a.m. I would go to the gym, I would do my workout, I would then do my cardio, I would go to work, get off, and then start prepping my meals for the next day. Or sometimes I didn't always do my cardio in the morning because I didn't have enough time, or maybe I just started to feel like I was starting to get hungry, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just do it later. I'm running low on energy. So then I would push my cardio to the evening, come home, and then I would have to kind of get ready for the next day and just repeat that cycle. It definitely takes a lot of time to compete, so just be prepared for that. I did not realize how time consuming it was. I didn't realize it was going to be a second job for me. At one point I had 2 jobs, so it was literally like a third job. I don't know how I did it, but I managed to get through it. So the second thing is that it changed my view on food and exercise. So before competing, I absolutely loved to exercise and I loved food. And what I mean by that is, like, with exercising, I did things that I enjoyed. I love calisthenics. I love working out outdoors. I love using free weights when I work out. I love doing high intensity workouts, and I would do all those different things throughout the week. And then when it came to food, I would pretty much just kind of eat when I was hungry. I made sure to get all my meals in throughout the day, but I wasn't very particular. I wasn't super strict on what I ate, what time I would eat, and the different types of food that I eat. I would always try to eat quality food, of course, but I wasn't extremely strict on how much of it that I ate. Once competition prep started, oh my goodness, like I had to weigh my food every single meal, every single thing that I ate, no matter if it was nuts or, well, that I would just measure with a measuring cup, but it had to be perfect. I had to like wipe off the top of the cup to make sure that it was nice and smooth and I didn't go over. I had to weigh all of my protein to make sure I didn't go over. I had to measure everything out, and I had to consume all of those meals throughout the day. And it got to a point, honestly, I just got tired of eating. I got tired of chewing. It just feels like a burden at this point. I'm so sick of eating. And I never thought in a million years that I would ever say something like that. But when you have to eat 5 meals or 6 meals a day, you have to drink a gallon of water every single day, it just takes a toll on you after a while, and it makes you not enjoy it as much. And the same thing with working out. I had to work out 6 days a week, and I had to get those workouts in, and I had to do the cardio as well. So basically I was doing 2 workouts 6 days a week. And you can only imagine how much wear and tear that is on your body. And so mentally, I'm just like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to work out. I'm tired. But I will say staying on track with exercising was easier for me than staying on track with the food. The food was the hardest part. The exercise, the training, I'm not going to say it was easy, but it was definitely easier than staying on track with my meals. And then post-show, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to eat. Actually, I'm lying. I did want to eat unhealthy foods like junk food and stuff because I was craving it, but I did eat. I didn't want to like measure it out. I didn't really care how much of the food that I ate. I was just like, I don't care. I'm not putting this on a scale. I'm just going to consume it. I'm just going to eyeball it in hopes that it's around the amount of food that I should be consuming. And then when it came to working out, I just kind of took a break from it, to be honest. I just got tired. I got burnt out. My hips were hurting because I was using the elliptical so much for cardio, and I was walking uphill a lot. So I just wanted to take a break from that. I had no desire to work out, to be honest. So the third thing is what happens when you do not reverse diet properly. And this is very, very important. Your coach will give you a certain protocol on what to do when it's time to reverse diet after your show. Follow it. Definitely follow it, because I didn't follow it and I saw the effects of not staying on track and do what my coach told me to do. If you do reverse diet properly, you probably will not have this experience or this experience to the extent that I experienced it. But the first thing was that because, I guess let me kind of explain. So what my coach told me to do, he basically was like, on the night of your show, you can eat whatever you want. So after you step off stage, everything is over with. You can eat whatever you want that night. And then on that Sunday, you can eat whatever you want as well. But on that Monday, I need you to get back on track, get back to your meal plan, start eating your 5-6 meals a day, stick with it. And he's gonna monitor my progress. He was like, for some people, he'll have them eat like 1 cheat meal a day, I guess. And then for some people, he'll have them pretty much strictly stick to their diet. It really just depends on how your body adapts post-show. Me, I was like, you know what? I worked so hard for 18 weeks. I want to eat whatever I want. And then I'll get back on track soon enough. So I ate whatever I want after the show. I ate whatever I wanted on that Sunday because the show was on a Saturday. I ate whatever I wanted on a Monday. And then I could start to feel my body just changing. Well, it just felt different. I was like, I need to get back on track before this gets out of hand. Well, then on that Tuesday, I ate whatever I wanted, and I was like, okay, maybe tomorrow I'll get back on track. On that Wednesday, I ate whatever I wanted as well, and I just kept doing that. And it got to a point for my first show, I got really, really sick after because I just kept eating junk. Honestly, I was eating wings, I was eating tacos, I was eating chips, I was eating all the greasy foods that I shouldn't have been eating, and a lot of like sweets as well. I was just craving everything. I wanted everything. I've been limited on my sugar and salt intake for so long. I wanted all of those things, and I got really, really sick. And so I should have just stayed on track. I also realized that I didn't realize how bad my body was going to swell if I didn't reverse diet. And that was another thing why my coach wanted me to stay on track, is because I wasn't used to eating a high amount of sodium and sugar for extended period of time. So after the show, when I just ate whatever I wanted for about, I would say a week or two, the first week my body didn't change. Literally, I'm telling you, like the first 7 days, I was super thin, I was lean, I still looked pretty much show ready. On that 8th day, it felt like the weight just like came out of nowhere and it just stuck to me. My ankles were swollen, my arms were starting to swell. I just felt like my skin was starting to stretch and it just felt really, really uncomfortable. And I just wish I would have reversed diet properly, because if I would have known I was going to feel miserable and feel like that, I definitely wouldn't have cheated. Well, I definitely would have stuck to my reverse diet the way that I was supposed to. So after my second show, I'm not gonna lie, I still kind of did what I wanted, but not to the same extent as my first show, because I knew what happened. So if I ever compete again in the future, I feel like now I know exactly what will happen if you don't reverse diet properly. So I just don't want to experience that again at all. So the last thing I wish I knew before I started competing is the cost to compete. It is very, very, very expensive to compete. And I'm not saying this to discourage anyone from competing. I think it's just important to know that you are going to be dishing out a lot of money when you're competing, unless you have sponsorships or people like paying for your entry fees and travel fees and your suit and stuff like that. It is very, very expensive. I actually created an entire video on the cost to compete, and I'll link the video down below. I literally broke down everything. So I had to pay for some of these things. You might not have to pay for if you know how to do them yourself. Amazing, do it yourself so you can save money. But I had to pay for food every month. And I spent a little bit more on food than I typically would because I was eating more. I had to pay for my coach every month. I think I hired a personal trainer for my last prep. Well, I did hire a personal trainer for my last prep. So I had to pay for that because sometimes I just got really tired and I was like, I need that extra push. I need somebody else helping me. So I hired a trainer just to kind of help me here and there with some of my workouts. I also had to pay for, hair, makeup, heels, accessories. I had to pay for my suit. What else did I pay for? Supplements, because if you're taking supplements, you gotta make sure you have enough to last you throughout prep, and you're literally taking them every single day. So oh gosh, there's so many different things. I can't even think of everything off of the top of my head. Your entry fee, so you have to pay for every division that you compete in. In Kentucky, I think I paid like $100 per division. You are gonna pay a lot of money to compete. And in a lot of cases, I would say thousands of dollars, probably. Yeah, I'm not gonna say an exact number. I'll let y'all watch the video and see why I spend so much money, but it's gonna be different for everyone. But just know that you wanna be prepared for that. Go ahead and start saving now, set aside money for it now, so that way you're not stressed about competing, and making sure you have enough money saved for the competition as well. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a little bit more insight on what I experienced competing and some things that it is important to know. Again, your experience might be completely different. You might not experience any of the things that I mentioned in this video, but it's just some things that I went through, that I experienced, that I wish I knew before I started to compete. And if you have any questions, leave them down below and I will answer them. But thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye guys.